Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Rapid Chess here with the video of the day, and today we will look at the game of Super Bad Chess Classics from Romania, a super tournament with two local players, Lupulescu and Deac. I've seen them both. Lupulescu came to Riga a couple of times, and Deac, I've seen him in Moscow. So they are not top players for sure, but Deac is giving very good fight, and we will look at his game today. So he played against MVL. I don't know how to show this game with white or black, but let's leave it like it is. And Deac is playing black. So MVL is, I think, Frenchman is the most stubborn player of all, so he plays the same lines. And he goes for, of course, for white he can play like a little bit less repeatedly, yeah, because he can play Rui Lopez and he can play bishop to c5. I don't think he ever changes this to two openings, yeah, so we can rarely see him play like, I don't know, Scotch opening, yeah. So a6, Morphy defense, knight f6, and knight takes c4. So this is the open variation of Rui Lopez, as far as my knowledge is concerned. So this has been popularized by the Viktor Korchnoi for black in the 70s. It's considered to be very complicated, as always. So in this game, in this opening, when I play on the internet, I always I blundered many times some kind of this variation, but it is also playable. White can take just and take on e5, and the position is about equal. But I hear like blundered all the time with some ridiculous move like bishop to b3, I guess. And just black is pawn up, they played like d6. Alright, so MVL just knows his openings very well. So he played d4 and d5. So the idea of this variation is to reinforce this knight on e4, and his bishops become very active, yeah. So sometimes in Rui Lopez with this d6 pawn, this dark square bishop is not, let's say, a bit passive, yeah. And in this position he will get to c5, and also this light square bishop, he can go to e6. The problem for black is, I think, a bit questionable structure, yeah, just looks a bit artificial. Knight to b2, bishop to e6, e7, and c3. Just white wants to restrict black from playing d4, yeah. Takes this d4 square for control. Black castles, bishop to c2. Also white has this pair of bishops looking at the king side, and both like sides can claim that they're playing against the king. So f5, this is now the latest fashion. I've seen game of Giri against Anton from Spain in this variation, where Giri played like Anton played 25 moves of theory, and Giri just and then he forgot the move, and Giri kept on playing, and he won like first the game just with first line moves. So I think this position was happened there as well. And knight takes f6. So Of course, structure-wise, white is better, but if you want to play active, you have to play something like this with black. Yeah, you cannot just, you know, have a very solid and good development and everything and some ideas for attack. Yeah, because black has like bishop to g4 coming, and they can play bishop to c5 and create some tactical ideas. a4, b4, standard maneuver in Ruy Lopez. Black doesn't want to open up this a file. And bishop to g4, pinning the knight. Knight f1, bishop c5, and bishop to e3. So it's very unpleasant when this bishop attacks this f2. And at some point, black can jump with knight to e4 and create attack. So MVL just knows his stuff. He prepares the exchange. And after this push, there is this exchange operation, takes, and queen takes d4. So now pawn is equal, material is equal. Again, this pawn structure is not good for black, because if queens are exchanged, then this pawn immediately becomes very weak. I'll turn the engine on, and the engine shows like a small advantage for white after rook to d1, the most natural move, I guess. Queen takes b2. And now players change sides. Black has taken this pawn on b2, and white gets compensation. Yeah, so they have developed their rooks. This queen is not defending the king anymore, and white is basically starts their offense. Rook a2. Attacking the queen, because bishop takes h7 is a threat. Queen c3. Of course, MVL doesn't want to trade. Repeated a couple of times moves. And g4. Like a pretty weird looking move. White wants to play g5 and break through with this pawn, and also it gives some loft, but I don't think I would play this move myself. However, it is engine's first move. So b3, trying to interfere. Bishop takes and king to h8 and g5. This queen here does some job. It protects this long diagonal, yeah, and somehow black can block with g6, and while queen controls it, so white cannot give mate. So knight to g8. Bishop to d6, defending the bishop, and rook to h3. Now, different kind of mating patterns appear. Yeah, bishop to c2 is possible, and queen can go to e4 and also attack h7. So g6. It's a radical decision, but it's the best move. Queen can return to his to defend his king. It's very important when you're playing and your opponent is creating threats, yeah, not to just lose time on taking like extra pawns. Yeah, just move your pieces towards your king, and there will be some exchange, and the game will continue. Yeah, anyways. So queen d3, and it's actually a losing move. So the ancient had suggested move like queen to e6 with a threat to take on g6, because this pawn is pinned. And engine says that the best move is rook to a4. But after something similar, yeah, white just has dominating position. Also, they attack this rook. Yeah, so queen e6 was much better, but MVL played queen to d3 with the same idea to attack the pawn on g6, but he blundered rook f5, attacking the pawn on g4. For me, when I saw this move, it didn't look that scary for white, but it appears that white cannot defend. They cannot defend with rook g3 because bishop will take it, and they cannot just move the king from check because it's mate in one, queen takes f1. And if they play, the engine suggests something like queen to d2, but after bishop f4, for instance, yeah, they will take this pawn, and actually the black will be a pawn up. And also this pawn created gave a lot of damage to black position, but now it just white just loses it. So they exchanged, and Deac took the pawn, this check. And it's an endgame. Again, it didn't look that scary. Its evaluation is also just minus 0.5, but very unpleasant, of course, to play an endgame, just pawn up and without too much compensation. So let's see what happened next. Somehow this bishop becomes unpleasantly pinned. Rook a5, attacking this pawn on a4. Exchange, and just takes the pawn. White is 2 pawns down and no counterplay. h4, bringing king to center, just took the pawn, and rook to e1, because in this case he cannot move the bishop because it allows another exchange of rooks, and becomes totally hopeless. Rook g4, moves back, bishop f3 and a5, and in this position MVL resigned because he's down 3 pawns. His kings were kings are about equal. I think black can create more threats with rook f4 and attacking the bishop and this f2 pawn, and just this pawn marches towards the a1. Alright, so unexpected result, and again, chess amazes when just you can get just worse position, your king is attacked, and with one move you can lose all your advantage. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.